Today's video is very, very practical. I have around 10 vehicles here that I want to give you the comparative price if you choose to import or if you choose to buy from a local dealer. And when I talk about a local dealer is, these people who sell ex-Japan vehicles already imported into Kenya. Because I have been doing a lot of videos telling you that importing can save you money, but a lot of you said that I never give you those numbers. So in this video, we will be a bit practical. We will mention the car models as well as the prices so that you are able to compare for yourself. Is importing worth it, or should you just go to your local dealer and buy an ex-Japan or a foreign used vehicle from your local dealer? So I will try to make a combination of small vehicles for business as well as medium class vehicles, mostly for private use, and a bit of crossover SUVs. And the vehicles I will mention here are vehicles that we have collaboratively worked with some people who reached out to me and they managed to import them. Okay, so most of the people, when I discuss with them, they feel well empowered to do this importation on their own. So we will start with Toyota Noah, a 2019 model with 91 kilometers mileage, and this is a grade 3.5, 2000 cc. It is getting to that person after importation at 2.2 million. So that is a Toyota Noah, okay? And it is a 7-seater. If you go to a local dealer, it is being sold at around 2.6 or 2.7. So that is the first vehicle. The second vehicle I have here is a Nissan Note e-Power. Right now, this vehicle has become a hot cake, especially for the taxi business, because they are saying it is giving them around 30 kilometers with 1 liter. So a 2019 model with a mileage of 80,000 kilometers. It was a grade 4. It is reaching at that customer at 950,000. If you go to a local dealer, that vehicle will be sold from between 1.2 to 1.3. Okay, so you will do the math, sit down. I think I cannot do more than what I am doing here, so you can just abstract and tell me how much these people are saving by importing. The only cost they will have by importing, it is time. They will have to wait for 45 to 60 days before they get their vehicle. Okay, so the other vehicle we are going to talk about here is a CX-5 Petro, 90,000 kilometers, grade 4.5, 2000 cc. It is getting to that customer at 2.4 million. A CX-5 Petro, 2000 cc, getting to that customer at 2.4 million. When you go to a local dealer, a 2000 cc Petro CX-5 is being sold from 3 million. The other vehicle we are talking about is Toyota Passo, 114,000 kilometers, a 2019 model, 1000 cc. It is being sold at 850,000. That is Toyota Passo, and it was grade 3.5. If you go to a local dealer, a Passo will be sold at around 1.1 to 1.2 million. Okay? And the best place for you to make, if you don't have time to go to a local dealer to do the price comparison, you can quickly log into Jiji. The Jiji is the marketplace for so many things in Kenya, including vehicles, and you will quickly get the estimated price of those vehicles locally. The other vehicle we'll talk about is Mitsubishi Mirage. That is a 1200 cc engine vehicle. It had a mileage of 130,000 kilometers. That was a 2018 model, and we are bringing it at around 750,000. If you go to a local dealer, you will get it for 1.1 to 1.2. The other one is Subaru Forester. That is now a crossover or an SUV. An SKE, I told you the Subarus are changing their model. So SKE is the 2000 cc e-Boxer. So that's the hybrid. 70,000 kilometers, grade 4. And it is arriving in Kenya after importation at 2.9 million. While you buy locally, that vehicle, you'll get it from 3.3 million Kenya shillings. The other vehicle is Subaru Impreza 1600cc. That was GT2. So GT2 is the two-wheel Subaru Impreza 1600cc. It is getting to that client at around 1.6. If you go to local dealers, that vehicle will be sold at around 1.9 million. The other vehicle we are talking about here is Sienta. So Toyota Sienta 1500cc. This is a 6-seater. So two seats in front, in between, and 2 at the back, because Sienta comes with several variants of seating capacity. We have a 7-seater, 6-seater, and we also have a 5-seater. So this one is a 6-seater, 1500cc, 2-wheel drive. It is arriving at that person at 1.4 million Kenya shillings. And when you go to a local dealer, that vehicle is being sold at 1.8. And mind you, the Sienta, it is a grade 4. So those are just indicative prices. And what constitutes a price for the import, you need to receive that breakdown from whoever is helping you to import. You need to ask what is the price of the vehicle while in Japan. What is the cost of shipping? What is the duty? So that is what you pay to KRA. What is the clearance fee? So those are the 4 costs you need to have. I have said the cost of the vehicle, the freight, that is the shipping fee, and then you have the duty and the clearance. Those 4 costs will sort you out completely. Of course, behind those big costs, there are some other sub costs, but they are always included in the pricing. So what I tell people is that some online exporters, let's say some companies in Japan, they put a very big cost into the shipping price, which increases your vehicle price without necessarily going into the value of a better vehicle. And I will give you an example of my vehicle here, the CX-5. The shipping price for this was $1,800. So sorry, I was telling you that this CX-5 I paid, the shipping cost was $1,800. So that was around 200,000 Kenya shillings. So let's always reason in terms of dollars. So it was around $1,800. In another company's website, the same vehicle had a shipping price of around $3,000. You see, almost $1,200 on top. That's like 150,000 Kenya shillings more expensive to ship with one company than the other. So you must be very, very careful where you are sourcing your car from, and you look at the breakdown of the total landed cost. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention here, because it is very critical, it's about where you buy your car from. The person selling that vehicle. I talked about the owner stock and third-party stock. What happens when people have very bitter experiences with importing? It's whereby you are forced to add money into the invoice that has already been issued. Okay? And those circumstances, they really happen. I got to interact with the guy who helps me to source vehicles from Japan, and he told me this is what happens. Let's say, for example, you have gone to BeForward. You have bought a car with BeForward. BeForward is one of those big websites from Japan. If you buy a stock belonging to BeForward, they will give you a definitive or a very conclusive and a final invoice. What do I mean? The invoice you receive from BeForward for their own stock, that invoice is final. Whatever happens to that car, if it goes for inspection, it fails inspection, maybe it requires tire replacement, it will be done at their own cost because it is their stock. Okay? But the example I'm giving here is not for BeForward, it is for another company. But I tend to believe that it would still be the same case. If you go to BeForward and pick a vehicle that belongs to third party, because I told you BeForward is just like Jumia or Gigi, where anybody can upload their cars. If you pick a vehicle belonging to a third party and then you receive an invoice from BForward. That invoice is not final. In some cases, you will be forced to add money, but you cannot be refunded money. You can get your money back if, for instance, the vehicle does not meet the criteria. You can get your money back. But let's say, for example, that vehicle goes to the inspection and it fails, and it requires tire replacement, or it requires some repairs that will cost BForward some money. They will come back to you and they will ask you to top up money for that. So that is information that I got from the person sourcing my vehicles from Japan. So I don't want to say that that is applicable across board, because all the vehicles I have advised my guys to go for is vehicles that belong to the one selling. I have not tried with third party. Okay? But if anything happens, I am told that third party vehicles will require you to add some money on top of the invoice. And that is why the invoice from third party stock, it is always called deposit invoice, meaning that you have sent an amount that contributes to another bigger amount that is not concluded yet. It will be concluded after the vehicle passes or fails inspection. Okay, but we are not saying that third party stocks are bad. No, I'm not saying that. Okay, but in case of a bad vehicle from a third party stock, you will really hate importing. That is what I am trying to say. But let us think of it this way. Out of the vehicles on SBT website, out of the many vehicles on BForward and other companies, I told you that over 95% of those cars are third party stock. Okay, so for one reason or the other, if you are a big importer, you will have to explore third party stock. That is guaranteed, but you need to know how to go about it. The other thing I want us to say is that when you are importing from Japan, it is 95% guaranteed that you will get a good car. So you don't fall into my emphasis of due diligence, my emphasis of criteria selection, because imagine all the vehicles we have in Kenya, 90+% of those cars are ex-Japan cars. Nobody today will just buy a Toyota Kenya vehicle or a Nissan Kenya vehicle, apart from, corporate or big organizations that will go for these cars. But I will tell you, out of the circles of friends I have in Kenya, I don't know anyone who has bought a zero mileage car. Okay, even these we call German vehicles, they are all imported from Japan, majority of them. And most of these vehicles, they are in very good condition. They serve our family members very well. They have served our friends very well. So the probability that you get a bad car from Japan is low. Maybe you can know one or two people who bought vehicles with local dealers who imported from Japan and their vehicles had issues. That is among, I would say, the 10% of vehicles that arrive with an issue. But from the history of Kenyans importing vehicles from Japan, almost 99% guaranteed you will get a good car. So you could import yourself without too much due diligence. You could go through a person just to ensure that you get it right, especially if you are doing it for the very first time. So let me know what you think, and always feel free to reach out to me. We discuss these things, one-on-one, and I am sure that I will help you out. Even if you save 100,000 Kenya shillings, that is money you didn't have, or it is money you would also want to save. So even if you don't save anything, at least with the same price as local prices, you get a better car when you import. Cheers. See you in my next video.